Here tonight, it is certainly a discovery in a Bullitt County apartment that is beyond belief. But tonight, the FBI says they busted a stolen body parts ring where the suspect had 40 different remains. Some of them, investigators say, were being used as home decorations. Hello, everyone. It's our top story. I'm Doug Proffitt. The FBI raid centered on a Mount Washington apartment located on Love Avenue, 8 miles from the Jefferson County line. WHAS11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Jessica Farley talked to horrified neighbors on Love Avenue tonight. Taylor right now, though, is live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Louisville with more on the case. Taylor?
Well, Doug, this 10-page affidavit is full of gruesome evidence which FBI agents say James Knott admired and stored in his apartment. One neighbor tells me she is shocked to even know someone is keeping items like this in her neighborhood. When FBI agents this week raided an apartment in this Mount Washington neighborhood, they asked the man inside, James Knott, if anyone else was at home with him. According to the criminal complaint, he told them, only my dead friends.
He just lived right over here, so just really a shock and nervous now that something like that could be going on.
Neighbors are stunned. Investigators found 40 human skulls, spinal cords, femurs, and hip bones inside Knott's apartment. According to the affidavit, they were decorated around the furniture. One skull was laying on the mattress where he slept. Another skull was wrapped in a scarf. At the apartment complex, one neighbor posted this note saying, "We know nothing about our neighbor. Don't knock on the door."
Everybody is friendly. But, you know, when I heard this, you just never know who your neighbor is anymore.
James Knott is believed to be part of a ring of people buying body parts involving a morgue manager for the Harvard Medical School anatomical program. FBI agents discovered a Harvard Medical School bag inside Knott's unit. They also found Knott going by the Facebook user William Burke on Facebook, where he shared several messages between a man named Jeremy Pauley in Pennsylvania. The two discussed photos and videos of skulls for sale. However, Caroline Branham has lived in this neighborhood for 20 years, and she doesn't recognize Knott.
I looked, I said, well, that guy don't look familiar. Like, usually you see him, even those apartments coming down the road and everything, and I've never seen him before.
The FBI searched his white Chevrolet truck seen in this driveway. Investigators found a crate of 3 AK-47 op rod and bolts, 7 AK-47 empty magazines, and a drum magazine. On the floor bed, 10 fully loaded AK-47 magazines with additional ammunition. This brings fear to the neighbors.
Scary, because, you know, we got young kids around here, and, you know, he could just go off the deep end, who knows, you know.
Now, James Knott was scheduled to appear in court today, but he waived his right to a detention hearing. Reporting live at the federal building, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Taylor, thank you very much. Well, Louisville Metro police detectives have arrested a man in connection with that I-65 road rage shooting that injured a 6-year-old girl. LMPD arrested this man, Jonathan Rivera, last night. In his arrest report, officers say when they were called to the I-65 shooting on Monday night, they found Rivera nearby with a gun. Officers say 3 motorcyclists got into an altercation with another vehicle before at least 15 shots rang out. The gun in Rivera's waistband matched the shell casings found at the road rage shooting scene. LMPD investigators are still working out what his role was in the shooting. They do know that he lived near the U of L campus. Right now, LMPD also looking for this man. According to the department, they believe this man stole $12,000 worth of items out of a car, including a handgun. It happened on June 30th on North 1st Street in downtown Louisville, right by the Roots 101 African American Museum building and the Humana Waterside building. If you know anything about this man, you're asked to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. And all new tonight, we do have more this evening on the Washington, D.C. police documents detailing their investigation into the shooting death of Oldham County school teacher Max Emerson, killed 1 week ago today in the nation's capital. The 22-year-old suspect, identified through these surveillance photos, appeared in a D.C. courtroom today. WHAS 11 Night Team's Connor Steffen reports the documents do not show a link between the two men.
New photos tonight coming from a D.C. Metro Police investigation, landing 22-year-old Jamie Macedo before a judge Wednesday, charged with murder. The judge called his guilt in this case, quote, overwhelming. The evidence is detailed by police. This footage comes from the metro station at the university. It shows Maxwell Emerson get off the elevator around 7:30 in the morning. He's the one in green. In the documents, police say Macedo was standing by there and appears to ask Emerson something, quote, possibly for money. Emerson then pulls out his wallet and detectives say he appears to give Macedo cash. The interaction spans about 2 minutes before they walk off. Another camera picks up the video moments later. Emerson walking with his hands up in what police describe as a don't shoot manner, with the suspect trailing not too far behind. Seconds later, more video as the two stop for a moment. Emerson using his phone and the suspect, as police say, ordering Emerson to walk beside him while holding his waist area. The two make their way onto the grounds of Catholic University. A minute later, cameras show again Emerson in that don't shoot manner, with his hands up. They sit on a park bench. It's now 7:53. The suspect, as described in the documents, paces nervously standing over Emerson before picking up his backpack. The suspect then puts it down, continues pacing, then sits on a different park bench, gets up to show Emerson something on his phone. Documents also show around 7:57, Emerson sends a text on Snapchat that reads, quote, help, being ribbed at Cub Point. Believed to have been a typo for help being robbed at gunpoint. Around 7:58, the two fall on top of one another and a short struggle begins. Before it's apparent, Emerson is injured. The suspect then runs away from the scene.
You know, the only fight that happened was he was trying to rob my son.
DC police initially reported the two knew each other and have remained quiet on the subject since. Nothing in the new evidence points to a connection. Emerson's parents have insisted from the beginning that the two did not know each other.
We are totally positive that there is no back history with these two people, none whatsoever.
While grieving a loss, thankful their son's alleged killer is in custody. Police also say Macedo's DNA was found inside a black ski mask left at the scene. In court today, his defense attorney said police have the wrong man and another man with the same address was involved. Macedo is scheduled for a preliminary hearing on July 20th. In the studio, Connor Steffen, the WHAS11 night team on your side.
Meantime, back here at home, Max Emerson's funeral will be held next week. A visitation will be held next Monday, July 17th from 1 until 3 p.m. at the Southeast Christian Church Crestwood, Kentucky campus in Oldham County. The funeral service will then immediately follow at the church at 3 p.m. One person is dead after a crash on the outer loop this afternoon. Police say at about 5:30 tonight. They responded to the crash at the intersection of Outer Loop and Briarcliff Road. Investigators say a car was traveling towards Briarcliff on the outer loop when the driver crossed into the eastbound lanes, hitting a minivan head-on. The driver of the car died at the scene. The driver of the minivan was taken to the hospital where they're expected to survive. An update tonight on the Bowling Green police officer who was shot last week. In a Facebook post today, Bowling Green police say Officer Matt Davis has undergone several surgeries, but they say all have been successful. Davis was shot during an altercation at a car lot last Thursday. He was rushed to Nashville and was listed in critical condition just after the shooting. Investigators say that the suspect was dead but did not provide details on what happened. Kentucky State Police are handling the investigation. The Jackson County, Indiana Jail is rolling out a new program to help incarcerated people with opioid addictions. Through state funding in Indiana, the jail can now provide medication for opioid use disorder. State leaders say more than 80% of people in the justice system have a substance use disorder. Jackson County also now has a grant to provide peer services to jail participants, helping connect them to resources outside of the jail and aid in their reentry.
This program basically is about saving and changing lives, giving people hope and being able to provide them services, being able to provide them hope for a sober lifestyle, and those are battling addiction.
Being on the SUPPLICATE shop myself has helped me focus on the next step instead of my next fix.
The jail is starting small with this program, saying just a few participants have been treated so far, and they hope to expand it to more inmates soon. Happening new tonight, the former mayoral candidate Shamika Parishright has officially launched her campaign for the District 3 Metro Council seat in Louisville. Supporters gathered for the kickoff at Peace Park tonight in Shively, which is part of District 3. Parishright wasn't initially on the ballot. Louisville Democrats instead nominating incumbent Kumar Rashad. However, an attorney for Parishright challenged Rashad's nomination, which ended up giving Parishright the nod. We asked her about that controversy tonight.
I think the controversy is not on my end. I did what I should do for my community, is stand up and try to stand there and fight through it all and be the one to help lead our community in a better direction.
Currently, Parishright's only challenger is independent candidate Gibran Crook. The general election, of course, is coming up on November 7th. Neighbors have called for a crackdown on this house on Short Street in the Shawnee neighborhood. Car engines, shopping carts, and so much more scattered out in front of it. And tonight, after months of fighting, the city is finally cleaning up the property. We first reported on this property in March after a neighbor contacted WHAS11 News. Neighbors tell us that for years, property owner Jordan Garza's belongings spilled right out onto the street and onto city-owned gardens nearby. Louisville codes and regulations say Garza has been cited twice this year alone and has yet to pass an inspection. That's why the city is now out cleaning it up for him, making a huge dent today alone. However, some have been critical of how long it took for codes and regulations to act.
I don't understand why they're not aggressive on things that you can clearly see, but too aggressive on things that you can't see.
We have to go through our due process, notify people, give them a chance, and go through the steps.
Moving forward, Codes and Regulations says inspectors will keep a close eye on the property. The team also plans to use some of the collected items to pay for recovery fees.